and welcome back and good evening to all of you. Today again, I will take some of your time to discuss about one aspect of the investment plan that we normally have. Now, I will give you a brief background actually why we consider behavioral finance or behavioral investment behavior as to be an important topic when we consider investments. Now, see, pre-1990, I'm talking about pre-1990, the world was guided by something called classical finance. That means simple language I will tell you is that if you take more risk, you will earn more. That is called classical finance. The more you take risk, the more you have a return. That is so till 1990, economists all over the world, the finance expert, the market expert all over the world, concentrated, taught everybody is that if you take more risk, and then you will have a more reward of that. And that was called a logical method of thinking, rational method of thinking. Till then, it was the story. Post 1990, some researchers came, and you must have heard names like Daniel Kahneman and all, and they gave a theory is that it's not return that is guided by the market or your ability to take risk. Return actually is guided by your personal preferences, how you respond to a situation in the market. Means market is same for everybody, but return is not same for everybody. So post 1990, he started impressing upon is that your personal choices, your personal decisions, your personal preference between fear and greed is what will direct and dictate your earnings from the market. And that was called behavioral finance. Means we have a behavior, and that is what will be reflecting in our return, our investment behavior. So what we all learned in pre-1990 is that risk will reward you. Now something else is rewarding. And the conflict begins post-1990 between these two. Many of us believes that we are a logical and rational investor. And many of us, we believe that we are emotional. Emotional means we have a lot of belief system, fear and greed and behavior and pattern, and that dictates your decision-taking ability. So this is a split between these two. So I do this program quite often for the different set of market participant, not for investors, different way of speaking to them, and for distributors and the other market participant, different type of a discussion with them. With you also, I customize something. So I thought to have some kind of survey to understand the kind of sample I'm going to speak to. I will be sharing, will be showing you some interesting inferences that I could able to draw. And if you participate, then it will be wonderful. If you do not participate, then also it will be good one. But participation often makes it wonderful. So let me share first of all, just a second, meeting notes. Sharing is, yeah, I got it. So share screen, entire screen. So I will first of all, let me share it. Can you see picture in picture? So can you see a result of your survey that I have displayed over here? No name is here, so it's without name. It's anonymous. Can you see this?
Yes, sir. We can see it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So I will not go one by one in all the response, but overall, you look at the crowd. I got nearly 25 response, and in 25 response, one response, there are many amazing response, and one response that says to me which age group, and that age group is nearly 30 to 50, where we have nearly 80%. So 4 out of 5 are basically in the age group, which is very creative age group. This age group is something when we challenge everybody, everything that is most creative time is this 30 to 50 year. So fantastic that we have a great age group in which we are working upon. And the majority of them have given this confirmation is that they are rational and logical investor. Nearly 87. So 87% means 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10 people feel that we are a rational and logical investor, or a personality, you can say. So let us understand that really we are rational or a logical investor. And if we are, then fantastic, fair enough. And if we are not, then it's something that we should think upon that. No. So based upon this outcome, there are many other outcomes, but maybe that we will not have a time to discuss all those outcomes, but 2-3 I will pick up. But let us go with this outcome. And I am showing you a Can you see a PPT before you?
Yes, sir. We can
Yes,
see
sir.
it.
Yeah, so you can shift it very fast. And beginning with this, a very small story I am going to tell you. I read a place that in Europe and Western country, we find the road planning, the town planning is extraordinary. They have perpendicular system of road cutting each other at 90 degrees, and the traffic is absolutely smooth in a line. Now, I happen to ask to many persons that it's an extraordinary thing. We also discussed the same about Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, where also road planning was like that. Roads were perpendicular to each other, and so traffic was very smooth. They were in queue. Finally, one day I got the research, and the research was who invented this concept. People might have said that they invented that, but the person who wrote it, he said that he got inspired from an ant walking in a, they are not walking, but then ant walking in a row. He was observing an ant walking in a row, and whenever he could able to dismantle the ant row, and then all of them were jumbled together. Interesting thing he said is that he didn't learn this from any human being whom we feel they are superior, they are intelligent than the other animal. But anyway, that's the one part of the story, is that not that I'm demeaning the human beings. That's one part of the story, is that there are a lot of things that we learn from the other but may not be able to conceive it together. For example, you're a doctor, so I started with this slide. First preference, when the moment we say diabetic, and then I could have written here sugar-free, but then because I used some other slide, so it became fat-free. If I write here sugar-free or fat-free, the preference between A and B, and logically people will say, oh my God, I'm scared of something like fat or sugar, so I will go with 80% fat-free. No, imagine the response that we have when we take decision based upon our impulse, based upon our emotion, based upon our preferences. Then it's difficult to identify logically whether which one is superior to the other. Like in this case, I'm not asking or responding, but then you can generalize, you can realize how the people are responding to this kind of options before them. Fair enough. This is a very simple one, because we all undergo these kind of things when you go to the market. But if I give you another way, we had one question, so I frame this question now here. Very simple. And this says, just a second. Says, suppose you come across a small kid and you offer him that immediately, if you want, I can give you 2 toffees. Immediately, I will give you 2 toffee. Or if you do not want to take this 2 toffee now, then after a few days, when I come back, I will give you 4 toffees. Now, what do you think that small boy, the kid, will choose? Whether he will take the 2 toffees immediately, or will he take the 10 toffees or 4 toffees after a few days? And the answer,
2 toffee.
Kid will say, I know your logic and your intelligence, but give me these 2 toffee, and then the deal is done. It is something that we all know. The other day, someone asked me that should I prefer to invest between gold coin or gold ETF? The question is that the moment I say gold, I perceive something like Bappi Lahiri. Bappi Lahiri was the only one person on the earth probably who enjoyed gold. So he purchased gold and put on himself. The moment we see gold, then we feel gold should be tangible, something which can have immediate gratification. Like a small kid, the behavior is that if I touch upon a gold, I should have a tangible satisfaction out of that. Unlike if I buy gold ETF, it's something like a delayed gratification. I will derive the value based upon the gold. It will be a best hedge against all those philosophy and theory does not come handy to choose between gold ETF and gold coin. Same like a small. Anyway, let us have some more simple definitions. No, I have a very simple questions out here. A stock A at ₹100 has a 7% chance of dropping below ₹100 in next 5 years. Just 7% chance. A stock B at ₹200 has a 93% chance of gaining from this price, the level in the next 5 years. Situation is like that. And majority of us, you can respond to yourself. I'm not asking anyone to pressurizing anyone to respond. But if you respond, probably majority of us will be saying, sir, we have gone, I have a logic to say, we have gone for return in the market, and the return in the market is coming in the stock B. Because 93. Yeah, you wanted to say something. Yeah, so they'll say we are going in market to get higher return, and this is being displayed in the stock B. Stock B behavior says that 93% chances are where actually I'm to get a return out of that. But look at the framing of the question. If the stock A said 7% chances of dropping below 100, the moment I say dropping below the 100, and then we said we will not choose this choice. Was it a emotional response or a logical response? Very simple question. It's that we frame our mind in a manner that we want this kind of answer. Like people always say, should I go in this stock? Is it safer to investment in stock A or stock B? This question is something that always wonders us. No, look at this, how we frame. We should choose the word gain or the loss, and then the decision changes. Let me say one more thing. Let me say one more thing. Why is this? This is very simple. And this gives a huge understanding about our own behavior. And you can, of course, chip in with your understanding and can, of course, chip in with your response. Option A tells you that you will straightway win 2,500 rupees. Game is over. But option B says you, there are 50% chances that you will win 5,000 rupees. In both the places, you are winning. In one, 5,000 rupees, 50% chances. One, you have 2,500 rupees, and then you will decide. Another option can be there that you will win 5 rupees straight away, or you have a chance of winning 5,000 rupees, 1 by 1,000 probability. And in this case, in case A and B, the first one, the former one, people will say, let us go with 2,500, the first choice A. But in second option, they will say, let us go for the option B. Why people buy lottery is because this latter case. If I will get a Sikkim Nepal 1 crore rupees. It is the reason why we have a difficulty choosing in different types of a scheme of a similar nature. Let us say in mutual fund. In mutual fund, 75% of the schemes are giving you return more than the benchmark. And among them, the difference of alpha means the outperformance from the benchmark. The difference of alpha could be hardly between 0.5% to 1%. In general, I am talking about. But look at the people who spend so much of time discussing, diagnosing, and then to deciding. In this process, how much delay it happens as well. The reason is not that we have a lot of opportunity, lot of option to say. The reason is that we are indecisive. We have framed our decision-taking ability is too much bound by the return. 1 year return, 3 year return, 5 year return, 10 year return, 20 year return, and all have got different parameters when we discuss this. This kind of emotional response to the option comes because of the multiple way of framing our schemes, our investment behavior. Let me see. This one should be even more different. And then I will come back to show how we have responded in the diagram. Now, this is an interesting game. This game says, if you have a choice A, you will certainly gain rupees 100. 100 rupees you are going to get. Or I could have put 1,000 rupees also. Suppose 100 rupees. And chance B, that option B says that let us have a head tail, and if head comes, I will give you 200 rupees. But if tail comes, I will not give you anything. Simple. No. If tail comes, I will not give you anything, but head comes, I will give you 200. And then depending upon your own perception about risk and return, you will decide, okay, let us go for 100 rupees, which is a risk without risk. No risk is there in 100 rupees, you go in. Now I change this game and I say, option A now makes that you are going to sure lose 100 rupees. And option B says that 50% chance of losing 100 rupees, sorry, 50% chance of losing 200 rupees and 50% chance of losing nothing. The same person who was responding when he was gaining indifferently, now is responding differently when he's losing. This is something that when market goes up, our behavior is different. And when market comes down and we feel our portfolio are stuck up in certain places, then we feel, no, we should behave differently. No, you will find people behaving differently sometimes. Like, I will give you one more example. You must have seen, when market goes up, people say, let us book profit. No, every stockbrokers has taught this to everybody, is that when market goes up, it's time to book profit. And when market comes down, then every stockbroker has taught him, it will again come back, so you start averaging. No? Start averaging is a behavior that is predominantly explained when market comes down. And booking profit is a behavior that is predominantly explained when market goes up. Distinct behavior. This is explained. No, look at this, how it has been framed over here. When market goes up, when you have a 100% earning, 100 rupees earning, people said, I should not take risk. And the same person, I will not say same person, majority of them, when actually he has a sure to lose 100 rupees, they will start doing experiment. Doing experiment is that let us take chance. No, something is that when market, should I invest at 60,000 rupees, 60,000 index, or should I invest at 72,000 index? This choice is because these kind of framing of questions. No, this risk perception is not always same in the market. Let us see some more. This is something that we all have understood this. Earlier, you remember some 3-4 years back, or rather 4-5 years back, when you book ticket on IRCTC, you used to find this statement over there. Situation A was there some 3-4 years back, 4-5 years back. It was like, check the box if you wish to take the IRCTC sponsored accident insurance cover, charges ₹2. Not that actually we wanted not to take it, but then who was bothered to go and check it, and we went ahead. And then IRCTC felt that people are not actually responding to this check box, so they changed the checkbox narration. And now they say, check the box if you not wish to take the IRCTC sponsored accident insurance cover. And now the same number what it was there not taking insurance now have converted into taking. Why? It's nothing but inertia, procrastination habit. You ask somebody, should you do SIP? He will say, yes, I should do. I have in fact recommended 10% to do SIP. Now you ask him second question. When you decided to take your own SIP, he said, recently I started my SIP. And then you ask him, when last you thought about it, who told you? He said, some year back, one of my friend told me, but till in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he was kept thinking and all. We have a habit of inertia. That's a natural habit of inertia. The trained habit is that we should do the work immediately. The natural habit is the word is that. So if you say the person is logical, probably he will think with cause and effect syndrome. That if he takes SIP now, he will have this kind of return. If he does not take SIP now, he will have this kind of a delay expense, delay penalty. But because we behave in an emotional manner where we are not trained, and if you are not trained, then you're guided by your greed and the fear factors. And therefore we decide, okay, let us take it later on. Market has gone up and so many things comes into the picture, and therefore we start delaying it. No. Simple. And you can always chip in, and then I will come back to the response, how it is there. One of the things is that gambler fallacy, we call optimism. Investment in the name of child or investment for the child. Now it is mutual fund and in fact insurance company and all that, they come with the one statement that please invest in the name of child. In fact, investment is for the objective of child, but the moment you put the name of child, emotionally you are attached to that investment, that cause, and so it's difficult to withdraw the money because this money is linked with the mental framing, with the child cause. But if you invest in your name and thinking that this money will be utilized for his education purpose and other purposes, in that case, that money can be used later on as well. No. So these two things changes the way we interpret our investment behavior, but both the things are same. Marketing persons, they understood that the investors are behaving differently when we frame a question in a different manner, and so they came out with a scheme like retirement solutions. Ultimately, retirement solution are nothing but you can say 75% equity, 25% debt. That is a simple solution that we offer to 25-year age person. A 25-year age person, we see a simple offer solution, 75% equity, 25% debt. Now, if this scheme comes with this retirement solution planning, then it gets a better mileage, better response. Why? We are logical, we are rational. We should have gone to the portfolio division, portfolio definition, portfolio asset allocation, and then based upon that, we could have decided that. But then most of us, and of course, you will all again respond in the end of the program. I will not take much time. But at the end of the day, we discuss about whether the naming has been done the way. No. Like I will say one more small thing. This I personally have witnessed and then I experienced. One of the investors was a big time investor investing in crores. And he was a very risk-averse investor, so he used to put the money into the debt scheme only. And he used to say, what kind of return he will give to us? A mutual fund guy, very difficult for him to say the kind of return because it's not promised, it's not fixed. So the person was very clever and he told the investor, don't worry, you are sure to get single high digit return. Single high digit return. Now, single high digit, he does not understand. He asked him another question. And then he said, no, lower double digit return. And then he understood, yeah, I'm going to get 9 or 10%. Did the person who was speaking to you tell 9% or 10%? No. He in fact just give an insinuation, single high digit, lower double digit, and then we decided that we want this kind of return, so we perceive this to be the answer. What I mean to say is that experts articulate their prophecy so vaguely that any probability and any event outcome substantiate that. That's a famous statement. This statement was nurtured not because that we are logical or rational. This statement was nurtured because we are emotionally, we respond to a situation in an emotional manner. No. We have advertisement coming from the broking house. We deal in algo trading and HFT trading. It's a very complex trading where a machine takes part, software takes the role. And the retail investor responds, oh, great. Now tell me, is there any retail investor who can ever think of going into algo trading or HFT trading? No. But he knows, the broker knows the response of the retail investor is that he will like that word and so he will come back to him. I ask you, is this a logical response or emotional response? No. Very simple. So in market, we understand in a sense, you will find most of the schemes, most of the statement, most of the advertisement are designed in a manner that does not explain the logical behavior of investor, that appeal to the emotional behavior of the investor. I asked this question in the group as well. Is it easy to spend gift money, bonus money, lottery money? The response are of course very divergent over there. You have a hard-earned money that you earn at the end of the month, and you have some bonus coming or some lottery coming, some gift coming. These two different situations. I will tell you one small example. Look at any housing society. Housing society, I will give an example of a Bilaspur railway station, that housing society. I saw that there. It was unimaginable. They get the bonus at certain month, and in that month, all the consumer durables article shopkeepers, like Samsung and all those, they came and put the shop over there. I said, why they have come and put their stall over here? They said they all have got bonus and they will immediately like to spend it. No, the response of a bonus money, gift money, lottery is different the way we treat. We do not treat the way we treat this, our monthly income, that incremental income that we have. No? Different method of trading. Why? The money is same for you. No? Both the money has got same value. It's only our mental framing is that we decide some money has got extra value and some money has got a lesser value. Look at one more case situation. If I give you a choice to ask you that there is a female doctor and there is a female teacher, and there is a 1 cup of wine placed between the two, I ask you, whom for it has been meant for? And suddenly you will feel probably, oh, I gave film actress over here. So film actress and film doc and female doctor. And suddenly people will say, oh, why? Let's say film actress. This framing is that we have been trained to design. We have designed, our training has been like this, is that we should take these biases, we should not take these biases, we should take this choice, we should not take this choice. Look at how we respond in the market. People will say, a structured and complex product are better, let us try this. Every mutual fund portfolio now have put in 5%, 2%, 3% a structured obligation. Now take this sample to the market and ask how many distributors and how many investors understand what is structured and complex obligations. Yes, so. Does it really offer higher return? And if it really offer higher return, do they have even one schemes where they have a 50% structured obligation? No, but it appeals. People will ask, should I go for PMS or AIF? Just because PMS offer you 50 lakh ticket and AIF offer you 1 crore ticket, and mutual fund offer you only 5,000 rupees of ticket. Okay, you may invest even 1 crore rupees, but since it offers a 5,000 rupees, it's supposed to be poor man's choice. And so you will find a tendency is that the moment your portfolio value is big, you will shift into PMS, you will shift into AIF. No, option trading offers wealth building opportunity. You will find all those who are going into capital market, the moment they learn a little bit about the cash market, immediately they move into the derivative market. Does it really make money? No. All over the world, people know that 9 out of 10 are losing money in the trading market. Probably one is the institution who are making money, but still the retails are moving. Why? We have been trained. We have been trained to behave like this, because if we know, if we are intelligent, we should go into the option market. No, this way we go into the market. And let us have a couple more examples, and then you can decide. The observation that we have done is that you have to justify your position over there. Now, I will tell you, I will show you how it means. No, this I am leaving because this will be a little complex. There are too many numbers are there. This one is very simple. There is a book, and book offers 3 kind of different choices. One choice says the price is 200, zero shipping. Another says price is 100 rupees and 100 rupees is the shipping charges. Same price. The third one says price is 0. The shipping is 200 rupees, but say price is 0, and the moment that we say jump to the, let us take the third one. No. Distinct response to the person. People prefer to find free. And this is the reason why we have something called right offers, something called dividend. No, right offers or dividend or say bonuses are all from your NAV. It is no other income. Only income that comes to you is the capital growth. Other than that, it's all fallacy of representation. That is for sure. We know this, and people buy this. Even if you say that somebody has got cash income coming in the form of dividend, and that suits to his requirement, absolutely rubbish. Dividend may be coming to you in what proportion and all, nobody knows. Not even the fund manager knows it. But still people go by the dividend with this logic, because dividend comes, it looks to be free and add-on benefit. No. Another one. This is the last slide, and then I will go back to the survey that we did. People say the past performance is what I should always recommend or I should always see. And in fact, there was a survey as well. This was a very big exercise, very big research done in US. And what they did is that they collected a family with very tall age, a tall this length, very tall persons, both husband and wife tall persons. And they also collected shorter height couples. No, and then they look at the history of their different history of their generation, and what they found is that in tall families they have some less tall, smaller persons were there. In the smaller families, naturally they are the smallest, so tall and tall and tall happen. No, ultimately at the end of the day, they found in few generation the average height of them was always same. The same is the case with your scheme performance. Last year performance, 36%. Before last year performance could be 21%. And then if you take the last 5 years, they all come at the same level. Should we choose the last year performance or the best performance? Both are immaterial, because in long term, if you say investment is long term, strategic term, in that case, all are regress to the mean. You have a hardly 0.5% or 1% is what alpha somebody can generate. No. So given this, Now come back to the survey that we did, and look at the survey. I think now you can see the survey. In our survey, nearly 90% people said that we are rational and logical. No, I will discuss 3-4 only, not many. I will discuss the 3-4 only, not many. But just look at this. If all of us are logical and rational, look at the first response. First response was, does your expenditure precedes investment planning? Means, do we save first or do we spend first? Result is 50-50. 50% people said we save first, 50% people said we spend first. If we are a 90% logical or rational, we should have a 90% result. I do not say whether you should save first or spend first. A financial planner will tell you should first save and then rest you should spend. And if that is the truth, if that is the rational way of thinking, then that should have been into the representation. Forget this. Let us come to some other one. And this will be even more. Do you hold or keep averaging loss making investment decisions? And 90% of us tells us that we believe in the same manner, that cause and effect. If market is coming down, we will believe that market has got still value because of certain regions and certain events. It has come down, it will come back. So let us keep buying. That could be one way of doing. But all rationals are responding in a different manner. This one could have been even more illustrative. Past performance analysis is the first criteria for investment decisions. And we know the past performance rationally to be the performance in the longer term. In longer term, all are regressing to the same line. That's average mean, regression to the mean. It is despite that 50% feels that past performance is the best performance, the best way to judge our how to make investment. Let us say one or two more. Yeah. Booking loss is difficult and painful, and we agree. I have a simple question. Suppose in your class there are 50 students, and you have to remove 5 students because of certain reason. Suppose college says that we have to only go by 45 students. Will you remove the 5 students who are good or who are bad? 5 good students versus 5 bad students. And the example will be for you. I will remove the 5 bad students. If 5 bad students was removed by you, why you feel pained to book losses, these 5 students? And in fact, you will be selling your performing stocks, then those who are not performing stocks. In real life, what you did? In real life, you are holding with the 5 good students and leaving out those 5 bad students. But in capital market, you are living with those 5 good stocks and holding the 5 bad stocks. Tell me how far we are. No. So I will not go into others one. So let me come back to the slide. So how to come back to the slide? I think this. Yeah. So stop sharing. So I'm now to the screen now. So look at that. Now our response is that we believe that we are rational and we are logical, and 90% of us believe us. But the responses of the questions are absolutely diverse in the nature. Now we may ascribe this with a reason is that individually we are rational, so individually we can think, and so we have individually cause and effect relationship, and so we can justify our result. But the question is that when we are categorizing us, whether we trust cause and effect, scientific method, thinking and logically, or only go by the heart, that's an emotion. Emotion means that respond to, you go by the heart. Heart is that you are happy in the number. So these two are two different methods of approaching. So you can judge yourself and can think, are we really emotional investor or are we really a logical investor? That is what is the biases. We cannot treat biases, which is basically emotional in the nature. No, there are 2 biases. One is the emotional biases, one is the cognitive biases. Cognitive biases can be treated because this is factual error. We are factually wrong, and so we take these error, we commit these error. But emotional biases is our ability to judge something, to respond to certain situation. And that is where long nurturing, something called SIP, STP, SWP, diversification, etc. is something that brings a discipline to the situation. No. So different method of treatment of emotion is that how to bring discipline in the system. And that is where it comes to that. So post 1990, the world is divided on this platform, whether we are a logical investor or emotional investor. Now it's up to you to decide how to. If you feel you're a logical, different method of investment. If you are believe that you are emotional means what kind of biases, cognitive or non-cognitive, different kind of treatment. No. So open to you. There's no conclusive fact of this discussion, but then it's a subjective individual.
Sir, just a request. Can you continue sharing the screen? Because in the recording, it becomes blank. Only the audio comes then, sir. If the presenter.
Okay. So I should again share it, no?
Share this.
Okay. So, okay, fine. Which one I should share? The survey part or the... You want survey part or the other one? No, you've gone mute.
You can share the entire screen, sir. Entire screen.
Okay, entire screen. So this survey I was showing you, know, booking profit is easier and joyous. So if booking profit is easier and joyous, it's a good, it's a bad. You will not remove your 5 good students from your college. Look here, we are removing 5 good students from your college, 5 good stocks from your portfolio, but you're holding on to 5 bad stocks of your portfolio. Your choice. No. Similarly, this is even more. Does your immediate response to an event is more intense than delayed event? And that tells you if the response is that delayed event gives you more gratification or more responses, that means something called recency bias is like that. No. Something that happened immediately has got more impact on us. Something that happened long back has got very less impact on us. No. So this way, these two are divergently placed. How we respond is different. Despite that claiming to be logical of 90% of the extent is that we are behaving very, very differently, very intensely, very different on that. This again is something where we have a very different kind of. That your investment decisions are based on references and recommendations. If it is based upon references and recommendations, where is the logic? Logic and rational says that probably you will take your own decision. The criteria of judgment is your own decision, not the references and recommendation. The person who is giving you references and recommendation probably he will be going by his own standard. Different way of understanding the two aspects. No, so there are many ways to see this. Probably this one you wanted, and this is probably everybody were unanimous that complex investment solution appeals more, and everybody said no. So this is where probably we can say that we all are on one page, and unity was there over there. Then in the PPT segment, this could have been like you can see this. Same market, 2 people, 2 different valuation. One says it to be 6, one is to be 9. And so one is buying, one is selling. You must have seen this somewhere. Only one person who is loser in this podium is the one who has earned the silver because he lost the first one. The third and fourth, no, they are joint winner. Or the third is basically one who has defeated the fourth and come back here. The only person who is sad in this picture is loss aversion. No, none of us want that there should be any day loss, single day loss in the market. And even if you find a single day loss in the market, no, we start responding in a different manner. These things I will not go. So let us leave it like that. Fine. So now the forum is open for you and your questions and of course your open discussions. No. Let me put it. Yes.
Thank you very much, Sanat sir, for the presentation, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, please continue sharing that screen because the audio is only coming in the recording, sir. That is okay, sir.
Okay, so but when this screen comes, then everybody leaves the system as well, I think.
No one leaves, sir. No one leaves the system.
Okay, fine. I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so the screen is there before you. Yes. one part this is one part. You can see actually this gives you more insight. My part is over, sir. Now part to you. Your responses and of course your discussion is free. Open.
So thank you very much, sir, for a very good presentation.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
Okay, it was a very good presentation. There are so many things, we got to know. We generally do not give thought to all these factors when it comes to behavioral finance. But are there any kind of tips you have which can help us to train our mind or make our mind as a making a mindset of investors so that they would be able to become successful investor, or something related to the points which can make our mindset so that we can hold on to our investments for long term and not go for these kind of things which misguides us or which can missell the products like that.
Understood. Understood. I will tell you very simple thing here. You see, we have been trained to say that risk means loss. We have been trained to say that risk is loss, but risk is uncertainty. Whether you get extra or you get lesser return, both are risk because it's uncertain. Now, initially, classical finance, classical mind, they behave differently than the behavioral mind. Behavioral person, the person who is emotionally charged, no, he will feel only loss for him is a risk. Now bring it to the real life. In real life, to avoid this situation, mutual fund or the investment manager came with certain words. These words are there that captures, that removes the essence of thinking where the emotional biases comes. The words are like diversification. Now, I will give you one example. Every fund manager is expert in his domain. He has read the subject of finance. He's expert of capital market, but he will always use the word diversification. Now look at the other sentence. Diversification itself means that you cannot conclude that this stock will be the best stock. It's an admission. It's admission that since I do not know that this stock will be the best 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stock, and so I diversify this. I put everything into my portfolio. But look at this. The moment fund manager says that I do not know the stock, which one is going to be the best one, then nobody will buy that. So not to say that, what he says is that I'm going for the diversification. So by picking these scientific words, one can train his mind where he can capture where he can negotiate the behavioral weaknesses, like diversification is there, asset allocation is there, asset rebalancing is there, SIP is there, STP is there, SWP is there, SIP top-up is there. These words have been designed which removes the element of uncertainty in us. And thereby, we feel that I'm logical brain because I go by the SIP. I look at the portfolio valuation, not that of a scheme valuation. So this may probably weaken, because otherwise the science says is that cognitive errors can be trained because you can read the pattern in a better way by if the training is given, but emotional weaknesses are very difficult to come out of that. So probably this is the industry's trait is that this way probably we can take care of that.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think Nilesh has raised the hand. He can go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, please.
I'm Dr. Nilesh. I'm pediatrician working here in Dubai. This is very important point about the behavior of the investor. Now, the behavior will be different. Like each individual has a different behavior. The nature is a different. Each individual has a different style of investment, and it depends on their age factor, their risk capacity, their knowledge, and so to bypass all those things, I think these mutual funds are as a device introduced because people might not have that much financial knowledge, or they don't have a different, they don't have the similar behavior how the sound investor does. So to introducing the SIP will not eliminate those emotional bias as well as the subjective bias.
Yeah, that is the only solution. In fact, the investment managers are offering to us is that they are standardizing the investment process instead of customizing the investment process. I give you this by one more sentence. Yesterday only I met one person. He said, I'm exposed to a stock market. I said, buy what? But how? He said that I buy a stock, I sell a stock. I said, do you invest in mutual fund? He says, no. Now, bypassing mutual fund and going into a stock is something unique. This person knows market and controls his emotions, knows about, so something like that, it's unheard of that, something unpractical thing. Now, how to customize these kind of things into a standard practice? These are the customized thing. No, he believes that he knows this. So to standardize this entire event is that you come to the word portfolio. So portfolio replaces this customization, and thereby we can say that even the most intelligent and the tougher one, both will be coming at one place where the investment manager will take care of your portfolio management. So I think this is the best way so far that we have.
And second thing, like even the mutual fund managers' behavior is also different. And is there, like, the mutual fund industry, as far as the funds are concerned, they are very opaque, because we don't know what they are doing, what they are buying, what they are selling, how they are infusing the people fund into the different type of the share market. It is very opaque. So recent example is like this Axis Axis mutual fund story of the fund manager. Is there any way that we can evaluate the fund manager performance rather than based on the mutual fund returns?
Yeah. Say about mutual fund manager and how he's approaching his fund management skill. There's no doubt the personal biases, the personal achievement, and the personal learning of individual will always be having a role in his professional decisions. Now, how to eliminate this from the fund side? Let us say like that. Fund side will say, every fund manager, you are disciplined by the offer document. Do not deviate the offer document that offers to you. Number one. Number two, you should always create this kind of alpha. You should try to create this kind of alpha, but never cross this Sharpe ratio or tenor ratio. Means the risk part is defined to him, return part is defined to him. This way, they control their emotional probably weakness in their professional decisions. Part A. Now comes to investor point of view. Investor still will not understand is that he will still say that the person, despite that you contain him within certain limits, certain parameter, technical parameter, is that he should not bring his own judgment in a massive manner. Still, I believe that he brings it. You have an example for that. One is criminal negligence. That is, of course, different. That a person who has decided to be criminal, for him there is no treatment other than the punishment. That happens always after he commits the crime. So that is separate. But other than that, if somebody is doing behavioral, that is how we judge them. We say he's a growth fund manager. He is a value fund manager. He deals very good with the small cap diversified fund management. No, we also type them because of their behavior. So based upon that, if we perceive them to be like that, and in fact, if they are responding like that, in that case, we do go for the diversification across different asset class, across different scheme, across different AMC. This much only probably investor can do. Beyond that, investor does not have any tools or any method through which they can contain, control, or can influence the fund manager. A. Coming to the B, we have now PMS and AIF, where big ticket like 50 lakh 1 crore goes there, and there the management of PMS and AIF has given us mandate. I'm investor. Given us mandate is that I can send and get audited I can send my auditor and get my investment audited over there, which is not in the mutual fund. It is in the PMS. But then even if you go and send it audited, he will say, whatever I have done as per the agreement that I have done with you, discretion of your, of course, judgment of mine. We have a discussion with you, but judgment of mine. So again, that biasness will come there. So these biases are always there. The person who is taking decision, only way to remove is that how far we are going to standardize this, and the standard words are again same: diversification, SIP, time series, and all this. Beyond that, probably very less role of even regulators are there to contain or influence individuals.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think, sir, we are done with now.
It's a very important topic. People should have lots of questions actually.
ನಾಳೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಬಾಟಲ್ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಕೊ, ನಿನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ತುಂಬಿಸಿಟ್ಕೋ.
Manoj sir, quick
Sir.
questions.
I personally will say one thing is that, no, if you ask any driver, it was again another survey done by a very eminent researcher. No, he said if you ask any driver, he will say, I'm a better than average driver. Every driver will say, I'm a better than average. If everybody is better than average, then who is average? No? So that is what a small biases that comes in our decision-taking ability. And the only way to contain that is the discipline while we are investing.
Kamlesh bhai, you can unmute and you can ask the question.
Detailed one and thoroughly enjoyed your observations. I have actually two questions.
Yes.
Rather question. These are not questions, but I just wanted to discuss my thoughts and also get viewpoints from experts like you all on this group. Now, I am completely aligned to the object of index funds. And also certain to diversify, invest in global funds, but when you have discussions with the fund managers or who are trying to sell you products of regular funds, they always insist that there is alpha that is there on the table. Why don't you invest in direct funds? In regular funds, which are large cap, mid cap, small cap, etc. So how do you control your edge? Of course, you have a goal-based investment strategy. You
Yes.
have made your mind to go with index funds, diversify risk, and you are happy with getting a targeted 12 to 14% of return that index fund has been giving, because it mimics the Nifty, right?
Yes.
So this is question number one. Maybe I'll seek feedback from everyone and then proceed with question two.
I have one just a small point to make over here is that, see, if you see in Indian context and other side, the emerging economy context, every country in the world, when they were in the emerging phase, fund managers were blessed to create some consistent alpha over the benchmark. They have been blessed. It was 60s, 70s of US. It could be 2000 and thereafter in India. So every country had this ability, because then it's not so difficult for the fund manager, because they are informed, they have a better access of market and the opportunity is there. So maybe we are trained today in this manner that we are tempted to get alpha, and which is probably is logical at this point of time given this frame of mind. But in developed economy like America and the Germany and probably other economy where you find the giving alpha, generating alpha is very uncommon behavior of fund manager. Now that is more risky than aligning your return with the index. So different geography, different opportunity, and different method of investment. Probably this is more logical method. Then identifying, putting everything is that we will only go with the alpha or will only go with the index fund. This way probably I take this.
So if I can summarize what you just mentioned, so rather than your belief system is there is growth opportunity in India, rather than going for global fund, a fund of funds or ETFs, you better invest in Indian based funds, which is index funds, right?
Yeah. Like I ask one more supplementary question, probably that will be very easy for you to respond in that case. When FI from every country in the world are coming with big volume in India, what for? Not for charity, but for return. So if they come to India, if the arbitrage is happening and where gains are coming from India, then how much important it is, how much rational it is for us that we go and invest in those economies from where the money comes back to us.
Fair point. Fair point.
No. So probably something I think it like that, instead of assuming that diversification where the either economy is under stress or the currency is under stress, because these two impact much on your investment value. So these two probably is to be considered that way.
No, fair point. I think that addresses the second part of the question also. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, in your experience of so many years, have you come across investors who are stuck onto their plan, kept it simple, and kept their emotions under control, and have been investing for years together?
I remember two person in a flash. I can say I remember only two person. One person, it was somewhere in 1995, 1996. He was from Jalandhar and he was a big exporter of potato from India. He's a big time exporter of potato from India. Yeah. And he had a huge money, huge wealth. I will say huge in real sense, huge. And he said that I will invest 20% of my money, whatever money that comes into the equity. Well, 20% of money will go to the equity. And I think despite all the risk that he could have taken, all the opportunity that he had at his hand and disposal, but he never changed his investment behavior and decision. That is one person I remember who continued to control his thought process. And another one I remember who was in Calcutta, and he is an industrialist, and he said that I will only invest in index fund. I will not go elsewhere, no matter how much alpha you explain to me. Now, both are very divergent behavior, but both only speaks in terms of discipline and the conviction that you have in your investment portfolio. Because other than these two person, I probably would have spoken to 1,000 or more than that per kind of a person. All of them in different time frame had got different kind of logic. Market going up, different portfolio, and maybe that they were outperforming the other one. That could be possibility is that, but the consistency was lacking in them. And I still feel is that a consistency plays a big role in the return. That is what it can overcome your emotion. One example is that you had an investment and it gave you 30% return in ELSS. You came out of that and then you put the money into 5-year bank FD. Back to the square. You got average return of a 14%, which anyway equity could have given to you. So such situations are very, very obvious when you go to the masses, to the retail side, but discipline is very rare. Few people, only example that I recall.
Sanat sir, I have another question. Do you think that financial literacy and awareness about the products can help you to control your behavioral finance? Like Mehul said that overcoming FOMO, that is fear of missing out, or another kind of fear or greed or whatever related to the behaviors. So having financial literacy, having knowledge about different kinds of products, how they work, what are the risk factors, etc. So all these knowledge can help you to control your greed and fear and become a disciplined investor.
No, ma'am, my observation is little skewed, I will say. I say partially the literacy of financial nature is improving the emotional pattern. Partially, I will say. Look at the number will tell us more. We have nearly 30 crore people, nearly 40 crore people with PAN card in India. 40 crore people. And we have nearly 5 crore investor in our mutual fund. Only 5 crore investor. Now, these 5 crore, so if you spread the financial literacy then the very big mass people will come into the investment market like SIP, which is a very normal, very logical way of investing in the market. Actual illiteracy is among those who are actually financially literate. Actual emotional weaknesses are among those people who are financially literate. They take wrong decisions when they invest instead of those who are not investing. Not investing could be because of ignorance. Once they are about financial literacy, they come back and start investing. They start logically, but the moment they are trained mind, they become illogical mind. So I feel that financial literacy to an extent among those who have not invested so far will be a great boon to the great service to the mutual fund industry and investment industry. But once those who have started investing, for them to contain their behavioral pattern, literacy will be little less useful.
Okay, because might be there could be a different difference between a customer who is an investor who is seasoned, who knows and who is comfortable with the investing with the market or investing in a disciplined way, but who the person or investor who is just a beginner might take the decision of pausing investment or redeeming from his investments often than a seasoned investor. So does that difference is personal finance knowledge or experience, or what make them different, a wise investor and a seasoned investor?
I agree with two of the words that you choose. Personal finance knowledge. This makes a big difference. When somebody is ignorant, he will be trained. He can be trained to be very, very logical investor in the market. The second word that you choose, and that was the behavior. No, the moment the person becomes behaviorally into the market, no, he tends to become expert. He claims to become expert. Now, the same example that I gave, every driver says I'm a better than average. So every investor, once he becomes a seasoned investor, a regular investor, he feels that he knows the market. He is comfortable with the situation, with the decisions. So he makes mistakes there only. Not that he makes mistakes while he is getting introduced to the market. So we do not have any financial literacy program, I believe, for those who are a regular investor in the market. All the programs that we have are basically for those how to bring them into the market, not to train them to be a successful market. So these two probably are the two different subjects. We address only one part, do not address the second part.
Sure, got it. Thank you.
Sir, I had one question, sir. There are two investors, A and B, both with the same income, same savings. Now, one investor who is able to control the emotions, stay the course, B, stick on to his financial plan, A, and the B, who goes and becomes an expert investor, proclaim that I'm a seasoned investor, who has more chance, or I know it is a random question with not much of data, but in the long run, who has a more chance of having a more fulfillment of goals or the net worth over there, sir?
I will give you a simple example, probably that will be more substantiating my answer. The best person whom all of us know and remember is the Warren Buffett. Now look at his style of investment. Warren Buffett said, I will not go into those stocks where the core income is less than the non-core income. For example, let us say example of Kotak Bank in India. Kotak Bank at one point of time, the income from treasury was much lesser than the third-party product. That means that implied that Warren Buffett would never have chosen the Kotak Bank. But at the end of the day, Kotak Bank gave such a huge return to the investor. One part. Part two. Again, take his example. He also says, I will not be investing in any industry where the human resource is more important than the machinery and inventory. And that was the reason why he never invested. He was never comfortable investing in the software industry. But look at the last 20 years, the wealth generation happened from the software industry. So what it means is that every investor, to the extent of, I can say, Warren Buffett, they have had their personal biases. Very difficult to say that I cannot have personal biases in my decisions. Thing is that he was successful because he stick to his plan, and then he probably logically thought about his plan and his perfection. Most of us who also have the similar kind of weaknesses, probably the way he had in his decision, but we do not have a plan with consistency. So it's very difficult for us to replicate the kind of a return that somebody who is consistent with his plan has been able to deliver the market. So this is something I will go by. So consistency, of course, is the most important.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would like to add something, Sanat sir.
Yeah.
Like keeping yourself into a straitjacket, or maybe changing yourself with the time. So I think the second one is always better.
There is a very great research, and that research says, I think your Manoj Gaur sahab, I could able to identify your word. So, voice. So that says is that no, a human being, his personality can be divided in 4 different parts. It says that in investment you have 4 different behavior, and then subsequently it says that if you cannot identify your 4 behavior in with consistency, then it's called a straight line, a straight arrow jacket. Means is that it's very difficult to identify somebody, so he can pick and choose in the places where they are compatible into that. I do not say that this is a wrong one, but then it needs to have a very big expertise.
True,
You need to identify your changing financial status, your risk appetite, and the commitment to proceed with the plan that you have made, and then executing all those things. Very difficult to do that. Question is that how many of us among the investor I'm talking about, not among this group. This group is anyway very, very intelligent group. But among the investor, how many of you feel that they can analyze, even can then define the portfolio that they are investing into? So they make it, and if you take more decision, you are more prone to make mistake. See, if you take more decision, you are more prone to make mistake. You see the copy of 2 students, one who is a good, one who is not so good. The person who is good, he will write endlessly in 20, 25 pages. He will make more mistakes in the entire book, but then he will get more marks. So if you do more mistakes, if you do more action, you will have a more mistake. So generally people claims to know the things, but then do they really know it? It's a $1 million question.
Very, very one irrational behavior which we come across many a times. Like I've come across hundreds of times. People investing into ALSS fund. So he will stay invested for 3 years. But as soon as 3 years gets completed, he will redeem that fund and he will invest into some other open-ended fund. I don't see any logic.
Of course not. Of course not. Similarly, you ask somebody to put into PPF, will stay for 15 years. You ask him to go into NSC, he will have a time frame of 8 years. And if you ask him to have a ELSS, 4th year is something 90% will be withdrawing the money.
Exactly. And he will take the ELSS fund after 3 years is exactly like a diversified equity fund. But he will take out the money and he will put into another fund. Ki chalo chutkara to mila mere ko.
Lock-in se chutkara mil gaya. So that is the reason. That is the reason why we say that if somebody claims to be a good investor, knowledgeable, informed, he can identify his priorities, risk management, and all. It's something fallacy.
True.
Other investment here I have observed is people who are averse to stock market, mutual funds, they had been shying off. Now this NPS product was promoted in many of the media, and many are with the NPS thinking that it is Government of India product and they are going to get guaranteed returns and their retirement is guaranteedly planned. They fail to understand the basic structure that it is again going to invest in equity and same bonds, that too in a very much opaque way compared to even mutual funds, and the money is going to be locked.
Yeah, I agree.
Deepak sir, I have seen that whatever, how much learned you are, whatever theory or whatever logic you apply, but the strength of security and safety is far, far, far ahead than the returns.
That is there, sir. Yes, sir.
जैसे आप बोल दोगे गवर्नमेंट की है, जैसे आप बोल दोगे गारंटीड है, बस आपके लॉजिक साइड में हो जाएंगे.
And tax saving का component डाल दो तो they will jump into it.
Exactly.
बचपन से लगता है हमको प्राइम किया गया कि टैक्सेस आर बैड, टैक्सेस को कितना कम करो या तो अवॉइड करो और इवेट करो, बीन मेड एज ए लुक एज इविल टू अस लगता है।
लेकिन मेरे को लगता है जो सनत सर ने अभी जो बताया, ये जो अपना बिहेवियरल फाइनेंस का जो टॉपिक है ना, ये समझने के लिए ठीक है, लेकिन अपने लोग प्रैक्टिकल वे में इसको लाइफ टू लाइफ में म्यूचुअल फंड इन्वेस्टमेंट अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि
सनत
किसी
सर
भी
नहीं कर सकते हैं ना, मैं इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूं, कर सकते हैं, इसलिए कर सकते हैं we will have to first accept that we are behaviorally immature. Problem है कि we do not accept we are behaviorally immature. Once we accept it, then we have all the solution coming from mutual fund only. They have a word like diversification, asset allocation, SIP, STP, ELS, STP, top up, SWP, everything is there. But we will go and stick to that only when we will accept that we are financially, behaviorally immature, and so we are sticking to this. We assume to be expert and then we are choosing among them, and so we experiment with those tools. ये प्रॉब्लम है।
सर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मतलब मेरी एंटायर लाइफ में, मैं आपकी बड़ाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ सनत सर, मेरी एंटायर लाइफ में मैं सिर्फ आपके जैसा एक इंसान देखा हूँ जो आपको, जो सामने वाले इन्वेस्टर को बोल देगा सर आप फाइनेंशियली इमेच्योर है, जबकि मेरे में हिम्मत नहीं है, दीपक सर में हिम्मत नहीं है कि हम लोग ये बोल देंगे कि फाइनेंशियली इमेच्योर हो आप।
नहीं, that is different.
Sanat sir, we should have more classes on behavioral. It is like something to control. It is like regular होना चाहिए, जैसे occupational hazard के safety features बताते हैं ना in occupation. Same way, behavioral finance should be a regular talk by you sir, by or you, by Manoj sir. It should be something regular in between.
Behavioral finance is always a workshop kind of a
Yes.
program.
Exactly.
It is not because no, everybody is trained differently, so everybody responds differently, and then only in workshop it comes out, and then people evolve out of that, and then they say, okay, this probably was training was something where I should amend and go into some other kind of training. But otherwise, in extempore mode, if you say, then only topics where only informations are there to be delivered, that is more important. So since we are doing online and probably very few people know each other, rest of them are not aware of about each other, so it does not convert into workshop, it converts into extempore.
एकदम सही बोला सर, मतलब व्हेन आई वाज इन आईसीआईसीआई बैंक वी यूज्ड टू हैव 2 days ऑफ बिहेवियरल फाइनेंस, वहां पर इंसान अपनी परत खुद खोलता था और वो प्रैक्टिकल था, और यहाँ पर आकर जैसे अभी आज वाली वर्कशॉप में देखते हैं वो एक नॉर्मल एक पीपीटी हुआ, तो उसमें जमीन आसमान का फर्क है, उसमें बस सिर्फ एक आदमी अपने नॉलेज के लिए सुन सकता है, वहां इंसान अपने आप को खोलता है, समझ पाता है कि क्या है क्या नहीं। ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू।
And one more thing is that finance is so personal issue is that it's very difficult to openly speak in the public forum. There are many reasons.
कोई
And
अपनी गलती
it
एडमिट नहीं करेगा सर,
it
सही
should
बोल।
not be as well. So finance becomes a one-to-one affair more often. So workshop has not been so successful on the finance subject unless it is a more of a subjectivity. Subjectivity, then it's okay. But the moment it becomes very objective, then people do not open up. That's another problem with the finance program. If we can
Can
discuss
you
about
workshop, online workshop on this, where people are willing to open up layer by layer?
Yeah. Like I will say one more line is that people are open to discuss about their car, their buildings, their foreign tours, other things, but then they will not be open about the deposits, the portfolios, the insurance. So people are little
So you can add one more thing. They are not also not open to discuss about their girlfriends.
So good, great. So shall we close it now, sir?
Ekdam sir, thank you sir.
Yes,
It
sir.
was a
Thank
great
you, Sanat sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Manoj sir. Thank you, everyone.